Kia ora students, video 2 of the toy car. When I left you last, I actually forgot to remind you, at the end of every sort of session you have on Fusion, you should always hit the save button. So once you've done something, added some features, it's always nice to hit save. What you do does get stored in the cloud anyway, but it is a nice habit just to make sure that save button's been hit. I did it earlier. It's greyed out at the moment, but if you can do a save, it will look a bit darker, so you just click on that. Okay, so what we want to do for this video is just add some features to the chassis, and then I'll do another video to help show you how to build some of these components. So once I've shown you one or two, you should be able to do some of them on your own, and then I'll show you things like how to make copies of wheels and stuff like that. Okay, so just some features on the chassis. I like to put some little holes that you'll drill on a drill press, and the holes are going to be for screws for the wheels. So we need two holes there, and we're going to put a couple of holes on that side, and we're also going to add a couple of larger holes on the back for reflectors or the stop, the brake lights, if you like. To do that, you have to make sure first of all that your chassis folder is activated. Remember, that was rule number 3, I think, of Fusion. So if you perhaps if you had this folder here checked and activated, which should be fine too, make sure that your chassis is activated. Okay. We're going to use the hole tool. We're going to produce some holes on the side here. So first thing to do is click the hole tool button. Hopefully you see this dialog box come up. The first thing I'd like you to do is just get into the habit of zooming in, so you're up really close to the part that you're dealing with. It's not a good habit to sort of pick surfaces and edges and points from far away. You should always get zoomed in, zoom in close, and you've got more control. So we're going to select this surface to produce a hole. So I'm going to go click, and then Fusion just dumps in it looks like it's a 15mm deep hole that is actually 15mm wide. So this dialog box tells you all the specifications for the hole that you've just plonked on there. So obviously it's too big and it's not the right depth either, but you can just click and drag that little blue part of the hole and move it around on that surface. So I always like to do that first to make sure I've got it approximately where I'd like it. And this little grip here, you can actually shrink it down a bit too, so it's making more sense. But we can be a bit more exact. In fact, we can be exactly precise as to what we want that hole to look like, and that information is here. It's also in these little boxes here, but I like to look at this. This is a bit easier for me to read. So I'd like you to make the hole not 15mm deep, but 25. So you're going to put a wood screw into that hole, and the hole makes it easier for you to screw the screw in. And we don't want it to be 7.38mm big. I want you to make it 5mm. That's going to be the size of the hole. And there's some other little interesting sort of engineering type specifications that you can add, but that's all I want you to do. 25mm deep and 5mm diameter hole. And before you click OK, we need to position it exact. So at the moment we just kind of guessed, but there's an exact spot. Basically it needs to be halfway between these two edges, and also I want to place it 30mm in from the end. So you can do that by going reference, and if you just click a reference edge, for instance that one, it gives you the opportunity now to say how far from that edge, and I suggest we do 30, and then you can click the second reference line, perhaps that one or that one, it wouldn't matter, and then we're going to go halfway in between. And if you remember from the last video, that's a 15mm thick piece of timber, which means we want it to be 7.5mm from that edge, and then hit return, and then hit return again, and a third time by the looks of it, and that should just place it. So I'll just do that again. Maybe I won't talk, and I'll just try and do that sort of quickly. I could even spin around a bit. I'm going to come in close. So hole tool, select the surface. It should produce the exact same dimensions that you had last time now. So if it was bigger like this, you just need to come down here and make sure it's the right size. So I want it to be 5. And we also want to position it correctly. So what I like to do is I just give it a little move, so Fusion knows you want it in a certain place. Then I hit the select reference button, and then I choose an edge. It's going to be 7.5, and then I'm going to choose a second edge, or if you're not sure, you could hit that select button, hit that edge, and then we're going to say 30, and then hit enter, enter, enter. Right, and again, flip it around. So I've got 2 there. I'm going to flip around, zoom in, press escape to get out of orbit, hole tool, click, just move across there. So it's kept those same specifications. I just give it a little move, hit select, hit that line. I've already placed it perfectly where I want it, in that direction, and then off that edge I want to make sure it is 30. Then enter, enter, enter. Choose the surface, reference from there, 7.5. If you, just to be sure, I always select the select button, 30, enter, enter, enter. So now you should have 2, 3, 4 holes, and you can see if you zoom in, it is actually it's a hole. That's cool. Now we'll put some larger ones at the back for reflectors. So hole, I'm going to choose that surface. Now I want them to be not 25mm deep. We're only going to do a little 5mm deep hole, but I do want to make them 10mm big. So that's made it bigger. Just, I think I don't want them too far that way. Somewhere around here. That's where I want to place it. So you go reference. That's always going to be 7.5 to be the center of a 15mm piece of timber. Then from that edge, looks pretty good. I think I might make that 10. Zoom out. Yeah, that looks good. Then go enter, enter, enter. Yeah, that's cool. So one more hole on this surface. It's kept the same sizes, so it's good. Just give it a little move over to roughly where you want it. Reference off that edge, 7.5, and then also off that edge, 10. Enter, enter, enter. So now they are symmetrically placed, so that looks good. Okay, that's going to make it a nice short video. I'll leave it at that, other than at the moment you can see this little blue, light blue line around there. That's the original chassis sketch you made, and you can also see the black lines from that sketch for this cutout, the housing joint. So in the chassis folder, if you hit this arrow and open it up, you'll see now you've started to collect some information. The body that's the body. So I'll just close that. But if you open up the sketches folder, if I click on that, that's highlighting that first sketch, and this one here, you can see it highlights where you did the sketch on that surface. So we don't need to see those sketches, so what you can do is you can close the folder, but you could also click the eyeball and it hides the sketches. So now it makes your 3D model look a little bit cleaner. So you haven't deleted the sketches, you've just hidden them. So if I just click that eyeball again, it turns them back on. So you can just turn them off. Once you've finished your sketches and you've done your extruding, it's quite a nice idea just to hide the sketch. I'll close the folder. And then, I didn't do this last time, but please hit the save button. And then when you see this, just click OK. That's all for this video. That's great. I'll post another one shortly to show you how to make some components. So we'll do the firewall that will sit in this cutout and it will pop up. So we'll do this piece here. Okay. Thanks very much. See ya.